A supervisor at a trucking company in the Piedmont Triad is stepping up to help one of his drivers who lost his children and his partner in a car crash last week.
WXI 12's Louis Tran joins us live in studio to tell us how he's planning to help. Louis?
Hey, Christine. Now, the supervisor tells me that he's known the father for decades. He says on the day of the crash, the father was working overtime just to support his kids.
This is a terrible tragedy.
Bart Williams is grieving with one of his workers, Dennis Palmer. Palmer's two kids and the woman he called his lifelong love were killed in a crash last week.
I had an extra load, and Friday he took it, and I gave it to him. Instead of going home, he took it to Charlotte, a little short run, and then when he come back, that's when he found out about the wreck.
The crash happened on January 6 on Highway 109. Highway Patrol says that a vehicle crossed the center line, hitting Palmer's family head-on. His partner, Brittany Carter, and their two sons, Aiden and Lincoln, were killed. Williams says that Palmer worked overtime that day to support his family.
He's all dedicated. He's all family.
Williams tells me that Palmer has a strong work ethic, but his love for his family is even stronger.
When he did work, he worked like two men. He worked the extra effort to make sure these kids had everything they could have, you know.
And Williams is trying to do the same thing. He's sending his love and support to Palmer, letting him know his friends are with him.
We're thinking about you and hope you heal fast.
There is a fundraiser for the family, and if you'd like to help out, just go to the story on our website at WXI12.com. Also, as for the investigation, troopers tell me that it's still ongoing, but once it's finished, troopers will determine with the district attorney to decide if any charges will be filed. In studio, I'm Louis Tran, WXII 12 News.
Louis, thank you. There are charges this afternoon related to that chain reaction crash that involved a box truck, a school bus, and a food truck in Yadkin County a couple of days ago.
Yes, Yadkinville police have charged the driver of the box truck, Sylvia Grice, with a stoplight violation and unsafe movement violation. Now, police say a school bus crashed into a parked food truck after being hit by the box truck.
At the intersection of Highway 601 and Country Club Road earlier this week, that's where this occurred. The food truck then crashed into a building while the school bus came to rest against an apartment. Remarkably, no one was injured, but plenty of damage. Yesterday, we spoke with a mother and son inside that apartment where the crash occurred. You can check out that story on our website, WXII12.com.
Breaking news from our nation's capital. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen told Congress today that the U.S. is projected to reach its debt limit on Thursday. Yellen said the government will have to take, quote, extraordinary measures to avoid default. Those measures include delaying some payments in order to provide some headroom to make other payments that are deemed essential, including those for Social Security and debt instruments. Yellen said while the Treasury Department cannot estimate how long those measures will allow the U.S. to keep paying the government's obligations, she said, quote, it is unlikely that cash and extraordinary measures will be exhausted before early June. Fresh fallout today after a third controversy, discovery of classified documents stored by President Biden from his time as vice president, and revelations that one of the documents was marked with the highest government classification.
All of this after Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed a special counsel to oversee this investigation. NBC's Alice Barr has our report now from D.C.
Mounting pressure on President Biden today amid new revelations that one of the documents uncovered at his former private office was marked Top Secret SCI, the government's highest classification. That, according to a senior government official and another person familiar. President Biden ignoring shouted questions today after saying yesterday,
we're cooperating fully
with what is now a special counsel's investigation into his handling of classified material as he was leaving the vice presidency. The president's lawyers finding sensitive documents from the Obama administration at that Washington office and Mr. Biden's Delaware home. The first discovery came right before the midterm elections. But while the National Archives and Justice Department were alerted right away, the public didn't learn of it until media reports this week. The White House on defense.
There's an ongoing process, and we have spoken when it is appropriate.
The extraordinary turn of events comes as a separate special counsel is investigating the president's predecessor and likely 2024 rival, former President Trump's handling of classified documents. In his case, roughly 300, with 100 of those seized by the FBI in a search of his Mar-a-Lago home. The former president insists he's being treated unfairly.
I did nothing wrong. What they did is not good. What they did is bad.
But Democrats point to stark differences.
It's a total contrast to President Trump, who stonewalled for a whole year.
The Biden team self-reported its discoveries and immediately handed the documents over, while former President Trump resisted repeated requests, including a subpoena. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
When we return, we'll introduce you to the local middle school teacher in the running for North Carolina's Teacher of the Year award.
Plus, over at RJ Reynolds, it is a pitch-perfect night tomorrow. High school and college a cappella groups are jamming for a good cause. How you can attend right after this.
There are enough surprises in your day. Don't let the weather be one of them. Get Michelle Kennedy's trusted forecast on the WXII 12 News app.
Welcome back, everyone. Donald Trump's company faces a $1.6 million fine. This is punishment for a scheme in which some of his executives dodged personal income taxes on lavish job perks. The fine is the only penalty a judge imposed on the Trump organization. The company was convicted of 17 tax crimes, including conspiracy and falsifying business records. The former president himself was not on trial. He has denied knowing anything about that scheme. New at 4 o'clock, Winston-Salem city employees volunteered in the community in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It is part of the city's annual Martin Luther King Helping Hand Day of Service. A dozen employees volunteered across 12 organizations in Winston-Salem. One volunteer told us why she enjoys working with the community.
I volunteer because I love the camaraderie. I love meeting my coworkers. I love being part of a team. I love being outside, and we get pizza.
All good reasons right there. Monday is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. There are several events planned across the Triad, and you can find the full list on our website, WXII12.com.
Checks all the boxes, doesn't it? New at 4, a Thomasville Middle School teacher is one of 9 finalists from across our state for this year's Teacher of the Year award. Tiffany Wynn is an 8th grade science instructor. She has 12 years experience, including the last 4 at Thomasville Middle School. Her principal says her ability to connect with all students is one of the reasons that she's a finalist for this prestigious honor.
What we as teachers have to make sure that we're doing is making sure, one, we keep our students and families in the forefront, but to help alleviate some of the issues at home, we also have to take a look at those things too and make sure that our kids are fine at home so that they'll also be fine here.
They will choose North Carolina's Teacher of the Year in April. Thomasville has never won this award in the more than 50 years that the award has existed.
Some students at R.J. Reynolds High School in Winston-Salem will be singing for a cause this weekend. 4 a cappella groups from the school's music program, along with college-level a cappella groups across the state, will be performing for the RJR A Cappella Jam for Hope tomorrow.
I gotta tell you a little something about yourself. You're beautiful, flawless, so you're sexy, hate it. But you walk around here like you wanna be someone else. I know that you don't know it.
They're so good. That tune you hear is from the Acafellas, one of the groups at the high school. That's a clever name, right? They're giving Bruno Mars a run for his money. They're singing one of his hit songs, Treasure. Tomorrow's event will be held at the school's auditorium. It will be hosted by the father of modern a cappella, Deke Sharon. He is best known for his involvement in the Pitch Perfect film series. All proceeds from the event will go to the Crossnor Communities for Children. Doors open tomorrow at 6:30, and you can get tickets at the event.
Well, they were singing in the rain yesterday, and so were just about all of us.
Yes, we sure were. Today it was drier, but wow, a lot of wind like you mentioned earlier. Michelle, is that going to continue?
Oh, the wind is with us for at least another day, and we've got the winds up in the mountains. So if you are a snowboarder or skier and hitting the slopes, you want to make sure you have your snow goggles and the full gear, because we're talking about wind chill values that are going to dip into the teens and single digits overnight. So night skiing, cold but fun, right, as we still have some flurries flying. You've got chilly sunshine for your Saturday everywhere in North Carolina tomorrow, so temperatures are some 10 to 15 degrees below where we've been, but not too far from normal. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But pleasant for the rest of the holiday weekend as we're ushering in drier air and a pretty pleasant pattern until we hit late Monday and Tuesday. So looking good to have a nice couple of days. You still see the snow showers here rolling in over the mountains from the Smokies into the Appalachians. You could see some light snow to the north and western mountains, so not as much here, but still enough to create some slick spots on the roads through tomorrow morning. So our cold front is to the east. This is going to provide for a new air mass and keep us chilly, at least for your Saturday and your mornings too. And then we're going to swing right back to where we should be this time of the year. You're looking at snow showers from back into West Virginia, Tennessee, and looking at temperature changes. Some 13 degrees cooler at this hour in Greensboro, 14 degrees cooler in Winston-Salem, and almost 20 degrees cooler in uptown Lexington. See those winds pretty stiff at this hour, 10 to 15 miles an hour, and gusts as high as 24 miles an hour right now in Winston-Salem, 30 in Galax. So it really depends on where you're seeing those gusts. It's going to make you feel more cold than you actually have with temperatures out there. But we've made it into the upper 40s today to near 50 in spots. You're still holding on to temperatures that are close to the 50-degree mark up in Asheboro and Burlington, but starting to slide right now as we see that cold air rush in. Gusts, as we mentioned, are going to be an issue for us, and we'll see those rainfall totals. Grateful that we've had it. Most of it was centered over the eastern Triad where we had strong showers, some thunderstorms too. But now we're looking at those rainfall totals, of course, starting to dip down as we go into the next couple of days as we dry out. We're looking at the snow showers, 1 to 2 inches possible up in the mountains, and and some driving hazards through 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. But the hour-by-hour forecast shows that the temperatures and snow chances that were in place for us, I don't think are going to develop for you out there tomorrow. Most of this is just a dry system rolling out. As we get you through your Sunday, though, temperatures back into the 20s for morning lows. So it's morning lows that take a dip and afternoon highs that'll struggle, at least for tomorrow. From 30 degrees tomorrow morning with strong winds. Now, some folks might make it into the 20s where you're wind protected. We've got you at just above freezing around 9 a.m. Around noon on Saturday, as you're just getting out and about, maybe enjoying some outdoor activities, it's still blustery. You need to be bundled up or at least have some extra layers with you. 44 degrees and gusts as high as 25 miles an hour in the Tri. You've got winds that'll take temperatures down slowly overnight tomorrow into the 20s for early Sunday morning, but still colder than where we've been. 28 degrees in the foothills to near freezing by 9 a.m. and then getting you into the 40s as well, with 42 degrees expected in North Wilkesboro through Jonestown and areas as we head west heading up through Yadkinville. 20 degrees in the mountains and still an impact hour for you through about 6 a.m. and this is because we have that advisory in place through 7 a.m. This is mainly for Ashe and Watauga counties and as we go into a few spots in the Virginia area. So watching as you travel west. 31 degrees with winds out of the northwest anywhere from 20 to 25 miles an hour. Gusts as high as 35 tomorrow, and you can see that wind pattern there kind of filling in for us as we get you through early tomorrow morning, and then the winds die down gratefully as we head into Sunday and Monday. That also means some cold morning lows. Look at that, 20s out there for you to upper 30s eventually by Tuesday, and the trade-off is we bring back the clouds and the rain chances through middle of next week. There is an impact day on Tuesday, but for now, all we have to worry about for Monday on your holiday will be increasing clouds. Temperatures are comfortable in the low to mid 50s.
Michelle, thank you. We've got a heads up for drivers in Guilford County. There's a new traffic pattern that kicked in today. As of right now, northbound North Elm Street traffic coming from Pisgah Church Road will be able to use the new permanent loop ramp to access I-840 West. That lane shift is part of construction that's underway right now to build the 6-lane freeway from Highway 29 to North Elm Street in Greensboro. Speaking of cars and trucks, let's get a first check on traffic. This is in the vicinity of where we were just talking about. I-40 Sandy Ridge Road in Greensboro. Still plenty of sunshine left in the day and no traffic delays. We hope it stays that way for this Friday, the 13th.
Coming up, applications are now open for magnet and choice programs with Guilford County Schools. What you need to know after the break.
The application period is now open for magnet and choice options in the Guilford County school system. There are 47 different programs that families can choose from at the moment. They range from performing arts, STEM, and global studies, and there's much more beyond that. You can do everything online. The deadline is February 20th, so you have a little more than a month. Parents and students can learn more about the programs at the GCS Choice Showcase, which is happening Wednesday, February 1st at the Greensboro Coliseum Special Events Center. That event is being held in person for the first time since the start of COVID.
Most open enrollment for the Affordable Care Act ends Sunday. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services says a record 16 million people have signed up since November 1st. More than 3 million of them are new to the exchange this year. Most people can find plans that cost less than $10 a month. Even after open enrollment ends, Americans who lose health care or have very low income can still sign up throughout the year.
And the snow showers are beginning to take a break for a lot of folks up in the northwestern mountains of North Carolina. Still going on strong, though, along the Smokies. We'll take a closer look at what this means for your forecast overnight in the mountains to the Triad. And we'll have details on your holiday weekend. It's next.
From WXII 12 News, this is breaking news.
We are staying on top of breaking news out of Winston-Salem. Police are on the scene of a shooting that left 3 people hurt.
Told this happened on Ladera Crest Lane. Winston-Salem police say 3 men were walking along that road when someone shot all 3 of them. They've all been hospitalized. 1 more badly wounded than the other 2. That person is in critical condition.
And right now there is no information on a suspect. We're told the investigation is active and ongoing. Be sure to keep it right here on WXI 12 and WXI12.com for the latest on this breaking story. You can also get alerts right to your phone with the WXII 12 news app.
Here's a look at some of the other big stories we're following in the Piedmont Triad this Friday afternoon. We're learning more about what led to a heavy law enforcement presence in Guilford County earlier today. This was the scene this morning. Deputies responding in big numbers to Candle Nut Road for reports of a discharge of a firearm. While they were there, they heard more shots in the area. All of this happened right around 8 o'clock in the morning. A neighbor tells WXII 12 the suspect was firing shots out of a car and into a home on Candle Nut Road. The neighbor said the suspect was taken into custody and that no injuries were reported.
Charges have been filed in a chain reaction crash that involved a box truck, a school bus, and a food truck in Yadkin County. Yadkinville police have charged the driver of the box truck, Sylvia Grice, with a stoplight violation and unsafe movement violation. Police say a school bus crashed into a parked food truck after being hit by the box truck at the intersection of Highway 601 and Country Club Road earlier this week. No one was hurt here.
And Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is telling Congress the U.S. is projected to reach its debt limit on Thursday. Yellen said the government will have to take, quote, extraordinary measures to avoid default. Those measures would include delaying some payments in order to provide some headroom to make other payments that are deemed essential, including those for Social Security and debt instruments. Yellen said while the Treasury Department cannot estimate how long those measures will allow the U.S. to keep paying the government's obligations, she said, quote, it is unlikely that cash and extraordinary measures will be exhausted before early June. All right, a big story in the world of weather was severe weather. There, poor folks in the Deep South just got hammered yesterday. I think 7 people dead across a couple of states. Here in the Piedmont, we saw a lot of rain and a lot of storms. Pretty dry day today.
Yeah, today a lot nicer, definitely, Michelle. We do have that wind out there, which you said is going to persist for a couple of days.
Yeah, that's right. We were going to feel colder because of it. And we did have some storm reports around the area yesterday. As you know, some trees down in these locations in the Eastern Triad from northern Guilford County and sections near Asheboro, as well some good heavy downpours as those storms came through. You can see estimated rainfall totals over the last 24 hours were heaviest in the Eastern Triad, anywhere from 1/10 of an inch where you had light rainfall for folks up in Wilkes County, all the way to the east where we had more than 1 inch dropping out from those severe storms. Now we're dry and we continue to look at the drier air roll our way with a ridge of high pressure. It's going to be a quiet weather pattern into the weekend, but a colder one. So new air mass in place. The snow showers still going for some folks, and this is light flurries to light snow showers on our western slopes as we go up toward Beach Mountain area, possibly 1 to 2 inches more before the system finally winds down later tonight. So that winter weather advisory in the mountains until 7 a.m. to winter storm warnings as we go farther south. So travel, just be careful if you're going up along the Blue Ridge Parkway through the overnight hours. We'll have much more for you coming up.
Michelle, thank you. Let's head overseas now. Russia is claiming that its forces captured a fiercely contested mining town in what would mark a rare victory for the Kremlin after a series of setbacks in its invasion of Ukraine, which is approaching the 1-year anniversary. NBC's Matt Bradley reports.
The fighting around Soledar has been going on for several weeks now, and we understand from just today the Russian Ministry of Defense finally said that they had taken Soledar. Now this comes nearly 72 hours since we first heard that Soledar might have fallen to Russian forces, and this would be the first real Russian victory in about 6 months. It's been since the summer since they've gotten any ground at all, and they've suffered several pushbacks by the Ukrainians since then. But it was 72 hours since we first heard from the head of the Wagner Group, and that's a private military contractor, Yevgeny Prigozhin, who's a Russian oligarch who's quite close to Vladimir Putin. He said that he had taken the city with his own private army, and he insisted that he had no help from anyone else, pointing out, really in a direct rebuke to the Russian Ministry of Defense. The Ukrainians say that they're still fighting in Soledar, even though it looks as though this city could finally fall very soon. Now, it begs the question, why Soledar? It's a very small city, and it really is just close to another larger city that has been the focus of fighting for the past 6 months, Bakhmut. But we heard from John Kirby today that both of these cities have no real strategic significance, and military analysts say that this is really just kind of a trophy for Yevgeny Prigozhin and his private army so that he can ascend within the ranks of the military establishment in Moscow. So really, in many ways, this is kind of a political vanity project for Prigozhin himself, and he's doing it on the backs of the corpses of his own men. Matt Bradley, NBC News, Vinnytsia, Ukraine.
Meanwhile, another American imprisoned by Russia is back home. Taylor Dudley was in Washington, D.C. today. Bill Richardson, a former governor of New Mexico and a U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, led the negotiations with Russia that ultimately led to Dudley's release. Dudley, a U.S. Navy veteran, had been detained in Russia since last April when he crossed the Russia-Poland border. Today, Richardson said he will continue working to gain the release of all Americans being held overseas, including Paul Whelan, who's also being held in Russia.
Just because you have a high profile and you're famous and there's a lot of public discussion of your case doesn't mean that lower profile cases like Taylor's should not be pursued. We should never let our hostages stay and not be protected and brought home.
Dudley was released yesterday by Russian forces at the border. A push to prevent congressional members from trading stocks while serving in office is gaining momentum. On Thursday, lawmakers reintroduced the Trust in Congress Act. The proposal calls for lawmakers, their spouses, and dependent children to place certain investment assets into a qualified blind trust. Now, this is the third attempt to get this bill to the floor. This time, though, it has more support. Some members of Congress were scrutinized for financial moves made during the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic.
The percentage of kindergartners receiving routine vaccinations has dropped for a second consecutive year. New data from the CDC says the coverage dropped 1 percentage point to 93% in the 2021-2022 school year, and vaccinations have dropped 2 percentage points overall from the year prior to when COVID-19 started. That includes immunization rates for measles, mumps, polio, rubella, chickenpox, and various other diseases. The CDC says that leaves about 250,000 kindergartners vulnerable to all of these, and raises the risk of an outbreak among clusters of unprotected children.
The Biden administration again renewing the COVID-19 public health emergency this week. The provision allows federal health officials to respond to the pandemic as cases are on the rise again. And the American Lung Association has launched a new campaign aimed at those who are at high risk of getting severely sick or even dying from COVID-19. Mandy Gaither reports.
In the U.S., a new Omicron subvariant is causing more COVID-19 cases. XBB.1.5 is continuing to spread, as is concern about a possible winter surge.
In the high-risk groups, people are coming to the hospital, and unfortunately, people are still dying from COVID-19.
That's why the American Lung Association launched a new campaign aimed at those at high risk of getting severely sick from COVID-19, including seniors and people with certain medical conditions like chronic lung disease. First, the organization says to get up to date on your COVID-19 vaccinations. That means getting the updated booster if eligible. Second, if you have symptoms of the virus, get tested. Treatment is most effective when done early.
We have some oral therapies that can be used within 5 days of symptom onset, and one IV therapy that can be used within a week of symptom onset.
If you're at high risk and test positive for COVID-19, talk to your doctor about the best treatment options for you.
A lot of information and misinformation being circulated. Our treatment options are good. They're being underutilized, particularly in inner city minority communities, populations that are underserved by the healthcare system in general.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Now, even if you're not in the high-risk category for COVID-19, the American Lung Association says it's still important for you to be vaccinated so that you can not only protect yourself, but those around you who could get severely sick.
Coming up tonight on NBC Nightly News, a story designed for all men to watch. The American Cancer Society reports more men 50 and up are being diagnosed with advanced prostate cancer. It is the second leading cause of cancer death in men. For years, deaths had been on the decline. So what's different? Tonight, NBC's Miguel Almaguer looks into the increase and shares the very personal way prostate cancer is impacting his family. His own dad was recently diagnosed.
Family history is a part of prostate cancer. How worried are you that I or David or your grandchildren could have it?
Well, now I'm far more concerned than I was before, because I realize that, yes, I mean, it is something that now is in the family that, is, something traumatic to have to deal with. my sons and my grandkids can get on top of this at an early age and be able to monitor and do a surveillance strategy to keep it under control, then that's the smartest thing to do.
What men should know about screening guidelines, that's on NBC Nightly News tonight at 6:30, right here on WXII 12.
Checking traffic now. Here's a live look. This is Highway 52 at MLK in Winston-Salem. No issues to report at 440. Traffic moving well. Fighting food insecurity, what a group of high school students just created to help tackle the issue and what inspired them to do it.
Watch WXII 12 News on your schedule. Download the Very Local app and stream for free on Roku and Amazon Fire TV.
A group of Texas high school students is trying to streamline food distribution to ease food insecurity and cut food waste.
Noelle Walker shows us how.
High school is equal parts learning from books and learning about life. Seniors Ben Peckham, Akil Petticupa, and Dat Tron have excelled at both at DISD's School for the Talented and Gifted.
Just a group of kids, at a high school, we could take on an issue so challenging.
An issue like food insecurity. The lines of people needing help have only grown with the pandemic and tough economy.
When we volunteered at these areas, there would be weekly distribution events to families, and by the end of the events, we would often run out of food.
If we could just reroute that food to people who needed it, that would easily solve food insecurity.
So they created a solution at their fingertips.
The name of the app is FoodNext, and so FoodNext is a mobile app that connects businesses with extra food to hunger assistance organizations like food pantries and food banks.
It was a summer project on their own time they did with DISD grad Vedant Tapiavala.
And where are you now?
Dartmouth.
A freshman.
I also took a class on food during my first term here at Dartmouth, and saw a lot of shocking statistics about how prevalent of an issue food waste is.
An estimated 119 billion pounds of food goes to waste every year.
Because people don't want to buy food that's near or at the expiry date.
FoodNext has helped distribute about 70,000 pounds of food in North Texas, Minneapolis, and the San Francisco Bay Area. It's like a dating app, connecting those with food to the organizations that need food.
That like really hurt my heart because they couldn't receive the food that they needed.
FoodNext is more than a project.
Seeing how it's, affected him, it's like, I don't know, makes it really personal.
I was an immigrant from Vietnam, so like growing up, it was like a struggle for me and my family.
They hope their app helps ease the struggle for others.
All right, let's talk about the forecast now. It is Friday the 13th, almost the middle of the month. We have not seen any snow outside of the mountains.
So we've actually been lucky. Let's keep it going, Michelle, on this Friday the 13th.
Lucky by your description, right, on a Friday the 13th. We are looking at some snow showers. Those folks who are wanting some snow across parts of the Triad, doesn't look like we get a chance anytime soon, but you see plenty of it having fallen earlier this afternoon and early this morning in Boone. You see some clouds still out there now. It's been spitting out some of that wind snow, those light showers that continue to not total up to a whole lot, but we'll get some more rounds of snow possible through the overnight hours, keeping you under a winter weather advisory, and plenty of cold conditions too. Winds right now are calm. It doesn't stay that way though. We've got the clouds in place and the winds coming up overnight. We have temperatures at 46 degrees in Greensboro, 45 Winston-Salem, and you're at 28 in Sparta. Feeling a lot colder on those slopes where we've got those gusts just starting to really kick in. 17 for feels like temperatures along Jonas Ridge to Lenoir at 41. So east of the mountains and east of the Blue Ridge Parkway, we really haven't seen the impact yet of the winds and the colder air. That is still rushing in behind our cold front, even though the rain passed yesterday. That air is still catching up with us. We've got gusts out there right now at about 22 miles an hour in Boone to 24 in Jefferson. So those areas expected to feel a little bit colder at times, at least initially, until our air rushes in. You've got wind advisories for folks back up to the north and west, but here winter weather advisories are in place to winter storm warnings down to the south and plenty of snow. That lasts until about 7 a.m. with 2 to 4 inches possible along the southwestern slopes of